Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. If you're tuning in right now, chances are you're a parent, maybe an educator, or honestly, just someone trying to wrap your head around the absolute maze of raising kids today. And look, let's just put it out there right from the jump. Modern parenting is exhausting. It's relentless. You're constantly bombarded with information, you're doing your absolute best, and yet it kind of feels like you're barely keeping your head above water. And hey, that's before you've even packed a lunchbox or stepped on that random piece of Lego in the hallway. Your exhaustion, it is incredibly valid. But today, we're going to look at some deeply grounding source material that offers a remarkably simple way out of all that exhaustion.
Okay, so how can we know so much more, but struggle so much more? We literally have more parenting books than any generation in human history. We've got apps, experts, endless research, smart devices specifically designed to help us raise our kids. And yet, if you look at almost every measurable metric out there, kids today are more anxious, more overwhelmed, and more disconnected than ever before. It's a massive paradox, right? Okay, let's dive into this, because the answer is actually a little uncomfortable. Somewhere along the line, amidst all this amazing tech and scientific progress, we just kind of forgot what parents knew instinctively for thousands of years. We essentially traded timeless wisdom for convenience, speed, and screens.
So let's compare the modern approach, the apps, the books, the devices, the endless schedules, and the anxiety, against the ancient reality, which was built around family, nature, a slow daily rhythm, and just calm. On one side, we have our buzzing, highly scheduled, screen-filled modern reality. On the other, the grounded, ancient world. For basically all of human history, kids were raised surrounded by family, nature, community, and absolutely crucial here, a slow, steady rhythm. And what's truly amazing about the source material we're looking at today is that completely different cultures, I'm talking ancient Japan, old Europe, indigenous communities all over the globe, parents who had zero contact with each other independently arrived at the exact same truths. When wildly different societies discover the exact same thing, you know it's real. It's literally hardwired into our biology. We didn't disprove these truths. We just got way too distracted.
And this brilliantly illustrates our first pillar. Truth 1. A slower world, leaving the speed of hurry behind.
A calm, predictable rhythm becomes the steady heartbeat a developing nervous system organizes around. In the ancient world, life naturally moved at the calm, steady pace of the sun and the seasons. The sun came up, the sun went down, seasons changed, meals were cooked slowly. There was nowhere to rush to, because there was nowhere else to be. Just think about the massive impact of that environment on a child. A calm, predictable rhythm literally becomes the steady heartbeat that a little developing nervous system builds itself around. Today, though, we've swapped out that natural rhythm for just sheer speed. We're rushing to school, rushing through dinner, racing to the next extracurricular, all while our phones are buzzing in our pockets. A child's nervous system was simply not built for this kind of pace. Living in this constant modern hurry keeps a small body in a steady, low-level state of stress all day long. Actually, in Japan, even today, there's this deep cultural respect for unhurried slowness, for doing one thing at a time. It isn't inefficiency, it's a survival tool for the human nervous system.
Which brings us to truth 2. Real responsibility, and the power of being useful.
Children need to be needed. We have, lovingly but maybe a bit mistakenly, built this modern version of childhood that's almost entirely about being served, being entertained, and being totally shielded from any real effort. Children need to be needed. It sounds so simple, right? But we've almost engineered this completely out of their lives. In pretty much every ancient culture, kids had real responsibilities from a super young age. They fetched water, fed the animals, watched their little siblings. And that wasn't because the past was harsh and cruel. It was because being genuinely useful made a kid feel like they mattered. It gave them this profound sense of belonging to something bigger than just themselves. By taking that away, we've quietly stripped away one of the biggest sources of natural confidence a child can have.
Give your child a real job, setting the table, feeding the pet, or helping cook. A child who actually contributes feels secure in a way that all the verbal praise in the world just can't replicate. So how do we fix this? Well, it's incredibly simple. Give your kid a real job. And I don't mean fake busy work. I mean something the family actually needs to happen to function. Set the table, feed the dog, help prep dinner. We actually see this ancient hack still going strong in Japanese culture, where little kids are routinely given real tasks, like serving food to their classmates or cleaning their own classrooms. They get that responsibility builds a settled, confident kid. We just need to let them feel that quiet pride of being genuinely needed.
Moving right along to truth 3, the natural world, escaping glass and plastic.
Let's compare the natural environment, dirt, sky, the feeling of wind and water, with the modern indoors, which is basically screens, glass, plastic, and artificial light. Now, what's really interesting about this is that for thousands of years, childhood literally meant dirt under your fingernails, the open sky above you, and that constant tactile feeling of earth and wind. Nature wasn't some special weekend trip you scheduled on a calendar, it was just where childhood happened. That constant daily contact with the natural world calmed kids down, it grounded them, it restored them, and science is literally just now catching up to this. Contrast that with today. The average kid spends almost all their time indoors, usually glued to a screen, living in a world made entirely of glass, plastic, and artificial light. And then we sit around wondering why they're so restless. We've taken them out of the exact environment their bodies evolved to be in. We absolutely have to get them back outside into the real world.
And that brings us to the fourth and honestly the most erased truth of all. Truth 4, undivided presence, the rarest gift in the modern world.
Watching the tops of our heads.
Back in the day, parents and kids were just together. They worked together, walked together, sat around the fire together. But today, there is a screen pulling our attention away every few seconds. Our kids are literally growing up watching the tops of our heads as we constantly look down at our phones. It's a really heartbreaking reality to confront, honestly. Because a child who constantly has to compete with a smartphone for their own parents' attention is silently internalizing a pretty devastating lesson. They're quietly learning that they just aren't quite enough. And hey, we haven't lost this presence because we love our kids any less than ancient parents did. Not at all. We've lost it because that thing in our hands is literally engineered to steal our gaze hundreds of times a day.
But we can bring back true presence as a form of ancient love and unshakable security. When a kid grows up with steady, present attention, they develop this deep, rock-solid sense of security. You see this Japanese value of being fully present with someone without any distraction, treating that pure focus as a profound form of love. Now look, you obviously cannot be present every single minute. No modern parent can. But you can choose specific moments. You can leave the phone in another room, get down on the floor, look right into your child's eyes, and just be completely, unhurriedly there. Even just 20 focused minutes a day of true presence can completely rebuild that security our modern world keeps chipping away at.
So, the crucial point is this: reclaiming ancient wisdom, the zero-cost solution. Pick just one to start tonight: a slower meal, a real job, 10 minutes outside, or 20 minutes of true presence. If we look back at those 4 truths, a slower world, feeling needed, time in nature, and undivided presence, absolutely none of these require money, not a single cent. You don't need a new app, you don't need to hire an expert, you definitely don't need to buy a product. Ancient parents didn't have any of those modern luxuries, and they raised secure, resilient kids for millennia. We didn't lose these truths because they stopped working. We just got too busy. We got too loud. But they're right here, waiting for us. So here's an incredibly simple menu for you. You don't have to overhaul your whole life tonight. Just pick one. Have one slower, unhurried meal. Give your kid one real, meaningful job. Spend 10 minutes outside with absolutely zero screens. Or commit to 20 minutes of true, undivided presence. Just pick one. Because what your kid needs most isn't new. It's ancient. And the best part? It's completely free.
Be patient, be present, and trust the quiet. The solutions to our modern exhaustion, they've been waiting inside you this whole time. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with this. Be patient with yourself as you unlearn all this rushing around. Be present in those little, small moments. And above all else, trust the quiet. I know it's incredibly hard to tune out the noise of our busy society, but think about this. Will you let the frantic, buzzing notifications of the modern world dictate your child's rhythm? Or will you dare to trust the quiet, steady wisdom of the ancients?